Echo.
Hi.
Here we go. Salwo. Salwo. Christian.
S-A-L-V-O.
Minime.
Shut down.
Salwo. Yes.
Oh.
S-A-L-V.
Minime. Rachel.
O-L-V-O.
There it is. S-O-L-V-O.
How do you spell it?
S-O-S-A.
S-O.
You said S-A.
Oh, you
S-O-L-V-O.
said S-A.
Oh, so like
Oh.
song.
Numerous.
Say.
Numerous duo.
Okay.
Core. Core. John? C-O-R is correct. Numerous trace. Metus. Metus. Brenda.
M-E-T-U-S.
Correct. M-E-T-U-S. Numerous quatuor. Talus. Talus. Brenda again.
T-A-L-L-I-S.
Minnie May.
Talus.
Christian.
T-A-L-I-S.
T-A-L-I-S.
We review station at some point.
See. Quinque. Kogo. Kogo.
Oh.
Danielle.
Kogo.
Is it Q-U-O?
Minnie May. Coop.
C-O-G-O.
Correct. C-O-G-O.
That'd be a cool name for it.
That's you.
Mm, Number six. Molior. 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 Marcus.
M-O-L-I-O-R.
Correct. M-O-L-I-O-R.
Okay, wait. Can you spell that again?
M-O-L-I-O-R. Molior.
T-U-S.
M-O-L-I-O-R.
See. Number septem. Tuaor. 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 Christian.
T-U-E-R.
Optime. T-U-E-O-R. Octo. Genus. Genus. Brenda.
G-E-N-U-S.
Optime. G-E-N-U-S. Noem. Tantus. Tantus. Danielle.
T-A-N-T-U-S.
Optime. T-A-N-T-U-S.
I would have been
Decem. Incendium. Incendium. Marcus.
I-N-C-E-N-D-I-U-M.
Optime. I-N-C-E-N-D-I-U-M. Numerous undecem. Moles. Moles. Danielle.
M-O-L-E-S.
Optime. M-O-L-E-S.
Trying to write it.
Numerous duodecim. Arcs. Arcs. Coop.
Arcs. A-R-C-X.
Minnie May.
Arcs.
C-X?
But I do like the spelling bee saying of the
Yeah.
word at the beginning and the end. I like that. Danielle.
Could you define it?
Could you use it in a sentence? Language of origin.
Language of origin, that's fine.
Oh, I love it. That's good.
Not funny.
Danielle.
Is it A-R-C-S?
Minnie May.
That's what I just said.
This is my
Arcs.
life.
Arcs.
Wait, is it
Is
A-R?
it A-R?
Arcs. A-R-X. John. A-R-X.
Wow.
I also
Numerous tridecim. Use. Use.
Who said that?
Marcus.
Use. J-U-S.
Or I-U-S. You'll
Yeah.
see it listed both ways.
I'll do I.
Numerous quattordecim. Rupes. Rupes. Brenda.
R-U-P-E-S.
Optime. R-U-P-E-S. Which I just realized is an anagram for super.
Whoa.
Oh.
And what is it? It's like. off the
You
cuff,
didn't
kinda-
just realize it.
What does root base mean off the cuff? Just if there's any correlation.
There isn't.
Not gonna work.
That's
That's a 40.
Nice, really nice try. Quindecim. Skyna. Skyna. Danielle.
Okay. Is it S-Q-U-A-E-N-A?
Mime. Rachel.
Be squat.
I like N-A. Q.
S-C-A-E-N-A.
Hold on, what are
Optime.
you guys talking about? Q is like the best. Q-U?
Well, you seem very Q happy today. I've
That
noticed.
happens in men all
I've noticed this real affinity for the letter Q.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Uh,
Really is the best.
yes.
Cooper,
What
I
are you
have to
doing?
go number 2. Can I go first?
Back.
Dang it.
Sit down.
I thought you
Oh,
were asking
yeah,
me
no,
what I
that's
was
me.
doing.
Of course you may. Of course you may. Well, and use the pass.
Well, okay, that didn't even make sense. He said go to the bathroom.
He said can I?
Ah.
I don't think he's physically able to
I
go to the
hope
bathroom,
he
but he
did.
did not.
I don't know if I did.
Did you see what he
Really?
I saw what happened, but I don't know if it happened on the camera.
Folks, get out
He
your
got hit in the face
text, and
with a
as
paper
you
ball.
do, reminder, t-shirt designs by the end of really the period today. I will say I've got a couple, literally 2 so far. And
Well, we've only had a day to do it.
although I'm going to tell you, one of them is really, really good.
Oh, okay, there
However,
you were like, they're both lame.
don't want to leave it to just 2 though. You know, if you want others.
put the other ones out beside
That'd be really sad because then you would like know.
The thing is, I already threw them away. Cause see, I thought the one was good to go, and I already disposed of all that stuff.
You
So.
should keep Perkins. You should have a policy starting next year to keep all the designs and then see if you can reuse them for state.
Well, that's a good thought, Sam. That's
I
a
don't
good
know
thought.
why
I
you
like
haven't
that.
done that before.
Folks, get back to business.
Well then.
Okay.
Get back to business.
Oh, Mr. Perkins. Alright.
Okay.
Say I wanted to have a shirt with Mickey's face on it, but I gave him a Roman helmet and some cereal.
I'm going to say
Because
2/3 of that. There's a helmet, Mickey's face, and cereal. 2/3 of that are utterly irrelevant to what we're doing here. So
We're take off the cereal and the helmet.
No, Mickey is relevant.
Yes.
Mickey is
We're not
relevant.
close
He's
enough.
a Latin student. He's
moving
relevant.
And a
With
toga.
serial weapons.
Ah!
Exactly. You.
Ah! That's great.
I had a spoon.
She's going
That
to
is
throw
amazing.
Virgil at me.
Wow.
Whoa.
I think it sounds
Really
quite
good
legit.
attack. I don't know. I don't know if I can defend against you throwing Virgil at me. Golly,
Sounds like you're
that right there makes a
Virgil.
teacher. I got to tell you, see, that's applied learning.
That's
She
a
took what she learned and she applied it in a new circumstance. That is what teachers love.
So Mickey's face with the bowl of cereal is legit because he's using weapons for cereal.
Yeah, okay, let's put it this way. Over my dead body.
Why are you so
Well,
adamant?
anything.
Why are you so adamant about not letting this happen?
Because it's undue attention to somebody who already gets way more attention than he needs.
It's like an advertisement for Latin.
Sounds like you're jealous of
You are a
Mickey.
hater of Mickey. He's not even here right now and you're hating on him.
He could advertise like Latinos.
Whatever
Move
a
on.
hater's gonna
Moving
hate.
on.
You got a test. Let's focus on this. And if there's time, we need. Marcus mentioned about scansion, and I do really need to have another word with the Trace Discipoli. That would be Brenda, Rachel, and Marcus to say a little bit more about next Monday. Okay. All right. So the audience was saying, "Hey, Queen Dido, you know, hard times, beat up on the sea. You know, can you cut some brothers some slack? You know, help us out here. Don't know what kind of people you are. Why you gotta hate on, you know, human beings in general. That you can't give us hospitality. And I'll tell you, you know, we got a king, and you know he is really all that in a bag of chips when it comes to pietate, comes to loyalty, and for that matter, when it comes to bellow, and oh yeah, and armies and weapons. So you know, I'm just saying, you know, our guy knows how to give hospitality. He'd be a good guy like that. And you know, if he's still alive and everything, you know, he'd probably beat you at arm wrestling. Anyhow, if he is still, you know, vescitur aura aetherea, he said, if he is still, what a great image that was.
Alive. Or not lying among
He's vescitur, something for poscitur.
Oh.
Or sorry, poscitur.
Breathing the upper
And so
air.
really eating, basically ingesting the upper air if he's still alive. And you know, really, you should be vying for the opportunity to be hospitable to us. I'm just saying.
The main argument that is in the
You-
US.
Well, and that's true. That's
Or
true.
Mr. Perkins.
Yeah. Actually, Danielle had her hand up first in Christian. Yes.
Oh, you can go first. Mine's actually about.
Mine's actually about something serious.
No, mine's
That's what she was gonna say. No, she was gonna diss him, and she's gonna say, Christian,
about
go ahead and
sex.
ask your irrelevant question.
Alright, okay. I'll ask mine first.
Better.
Okay, so when we were translating, I was typing this up last night for the independent study people.
Typical.
Well, it's and study people.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were talking like when we did that whole part about Aeneas and like no one was more just than him.
Yes, yes.
Did we skip a line?
We
Yeah.
did.
Okay, because I was like, eh.
I realized that myself, and we did skip a line there. So we can go put that back in just a minute. Yes.
Okay. So for that, like, you know, the one where it's like you should be happy to like hospitalize whatever. Hospitalize. Point being, I translated it as "Don't be sorry to contest his hospitality."
Yeah, well, pretty much. Yeah. Don't be sorry. Basically, to have contended or kertase, to be priora, to be first with respect to officio or hospitio. Don't be sorry to contend or strive. Strive might be a good word for kertase if you like. To strive to be first in hospitality.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does smooth that out. Just to put that back into place, Danielle, thanks for bringing that to our attention. It was back on line 541. Yeah, 541. He said, Hospitio prohibemur harenae in 540. He says, we're prevented from the hospitality of the shore, of the beach. Bella quient. And notice, we really should have certainly hit this line. It's an important line. 541. Notice that the verbs quient and wetant are both what person and number? 541. They're both third plural. So he's talking about a they, and Ilioneus is. And he really hasn't had any other context for who this they would be. You know, presumably it's Dido's people, her front guard, the vanguard, if you will. And he says, they, bella quient. They
arouse war.
They stir up war. They rouse war. And they wetant.
And they breathe on. Oh wait, no.
They prohibit or they prevent us from consistera primaterum. Can you say it louder? They prevent us from standing or standing fast on the prima terra.
On
The first.
land.
On the first to land. So in other words, wherever they had landed on the shoreline there, were to assume that there were Carthaginians who said no. Where are you people?
Well, that makes more sense.
You can't beach here. You can't land here. And of course probably had spear point or sword point or whatever. And Ilioneus says, you know, I don't know who you people are. You know, what sort of genus hominum are you? What sort of race of people are you? You know, you seem to hate human beings. You know, we prohibemur hospitio harenae, so we're shut off from the hospitality of the beach. Matter of fact, they, and again, there's really no reference here. So maybe he's even gesturing perhaps to some people standing around. Maybe they were brought in some guarded fashion. He says, you know, they quient bella, for heaven's sakes. I mean, they were basically stirring up war here. And they, what's the verb he uses? They wetant. He says they prevented us from taking our stand, basically, you know, camping out on the prima terra where we first landed. And then he goes into the whole, you know, we got a guy named Aeneas and so forth. And he goes on to say now, line 549, he says, sunt et siculis regionibus urbes armaque, Troianoqua sanguine claros acestis. And he says, there are also urbes, cities, in the siculis regionibus, in the region of Sicily, the Sicilian regions, and arma, and weapons, and a clarus, weir, you could put in where, a clarus, a famous guy named Acestes from Troiano sanguine, from Trojan blood. Now, we've already had a reference to Acestes.
Was the wine?
He's the wine guy. Okay? So remember, you got your map. Again, you can look at your old black and white map that Rachel made for us. Where they bopped around. They were here, Sicily. They had gotten some hospitality there. They'd gotten some wine from Acestes. They got blown off course over to Carthage. And so now he's going to make the argument, look, help us out, or at least help us get back to Acestes. Right? If nothing else, we've got another place we can go. We're not trying to be an imposition. Right? There's another place we can go. Our blood kinsman, Acestes, and he's really just right across the water here. And he's going to start that line of argument. Yes?
What does the adjective sanguine mean?
No.
Sanguine.
Sanguine.
It means like optimistic.
It's fearful.
Sanguine, right.
Sanguine. All right.
When you, that dates back to certainly medieval times and even a little bit later, when you would talk about the various humors of the body. If you've done any Shakespeare, you probably ran across this notion. And the notion that if a person had an excess amount of, and I think there were 4 basic humors, if you had too much blood in you, that produced a certain personality type. What was it?
Phlegm.
Yeah, phlegmatic.
Yeah.
Yes, right, phlegmatic. In fact, the word phlegmatic was used in Spartacus. You won't remember, it was 3 years ago when you watched it in first year Latin. But Gracchus, who was on the corpulent side, made the comment. I can't remember what the context was. He said something about basically heavy-set people are, I forget what he said, like reasonable, phlegmatic, and something. And he says, have you ever noticed that the nastiest of tyrants are invariably thin? So phlegmatic, that was a personality.
Melancholy, is that one, or is that just a trait?
Melancholy, I think it's just a trait. I think it's one of the humors. I feel like bilious, having an excess of bile. And it seemed like there was one other one. Is it splenetic? Is it having too much spleen? Yeah. Or not really.
What?
Yeah. I really. I think about at any rate, that was the medieval idea. Was that what produces the different types of people you encounter?
Wait, so how do you pronounce san?
Sanguine. The Latin, it's straight. The ablative sanguine, and then was it passed into English? We pronounce it sanguine. Sanguine. All right, we got to move on. We really got to move on. Quasantem ventis liceat subducere classem. He says, let it be liceat. Pause for a note back on 549. Notice the et after sunt. Et is not always et. Actually, et is always et, but sometimes it's closer to its original root than others. All et is short for etiam. And etiam means also. Now think about it. Isn't and really another word for also? I'm going to have a Coke and fries. I'm going to have a Coke, also some fries. Right? It really and means the same thing as also, even in English. So sometimes et is a very pure and. I mean, that just sounds better in the list. Sometimes it really sounds better, though, as the also. Okay? Yeah, I don't think it's a real strong and sense in 549. He says there are also, right, some cities in the Sicilian regions. Sam, very quickly, yes.
Isn't so then and also wouldn't that be redundant in the English language?
It really would be, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now he says, let it be liceat. Let it be permitted. Parse liceat quickly.
Subjunctive, present.
Subjunctive, present, active. Person number.
Oh.
Third, singular. This is another impersonal verb, like painiteat. It's interesting. I don't think there's anything to make of it. It's just interesting. We happen to have 2 examples close at hand. Let it be permitted, he says, to subducere our classem,
To draw up.
to draw up our fleet, that has been quassatum ventis,
That has been shattered by the wind.
that has been shattered or shaken apart by the ventis, by the winds. This is what I'm asking. We don't need to enter into some trade agreement. We're not looking to settle down and take your land. Let us beach our ships. And let it be permitted, silvis aptare traves, to do what? Notice we got these infinitives, subdugera, aptara, stringera, 3 infinitives all hanging off of lyceat. Let it be permitted to aptare traves, to shape what?
Oars.
Should shape beams. Right? Traves is a beam of wood, not a beam of light. Traves is never a beam of light. That'd be a radius, like ray or radiant and so forth. This is always a beam of wood, a plank. Let it be permitted to shape some planks from the silvis, from the forest. We need to get some resources here, and to stringere remos. I think stringo is the same verb that's used for to pull a sword out of the scabbard. Okay, it's the same exact verb that was used. So I think that is stripping the sword out of the scabbard, to strip the ramos. To strip the what? The oars, right? So we're going to hew out some planks to repair our ships, and then we got to strip these oars, obviously strip them of what? Of the bark, right? We're going to fashion some oars and strip them smooth. Si datur Italiam socis et rege recepto tendera. If it is datur, if it is given, and presumably by the gods, if it's our fate, to Italiam tendera. Tendera. To stretch, good. If it is given, if it's permitted, to stretch toward Italia, to Italy, with our socis and with our rege having been recepto, with our king having been restored. If Aeneas is still out there, it's still going to be the plan to get to Italy. And if that is the case, and admittedly, I don't know yet, but if it is, then let us have a few trees, let us beach our ships, we'll do our work, you won't even have to know we're here, and we'll be gone out of your hair. And let us do that, so that lighty petamos. I want to hear somebody translate lighty petamos. Nice. It's not that it's that hard, I just want to hear somebody do it accurately. So that lighty petamos.
So that we.
Good.
I got that much.
Annoy? It doesn't. No.
Peto petra means what? To seek. Lightus lita lita means
Happiness.
happy.
So
Put
like
together.
if we pursue happiness.
No. Push yourselves a little bit. What form is lighting? How's it functioning in this?
Looks like it's a. No, it's a
It's
noun.
what? Nope. It's lightus lita lita. It's first and second declension adjective. Meaning they, that'd be if it were a third declension. It's a first and second declension adjective. Could be genitive singular or
No.
nominative plural. What gender? Masculine. Where is there a nominative plural masculine in that purpose clause? Following the ut. Petamos. The mus is what? We. So that we, being lighty, being happy, may petamos Italiam, may seek Italy. I really want to focus on that because that's the kind of thing I think that would really separate, I wouldn't separate a 4 from a 5, it would probably separate a 3 from a 2 on the AP, okay? Knowing Latin idiom, how Latin really works. We've said this before, let's review it. Latin likes adjectives more than adverbs. We would say, so that we may happily seek, right? We would prefer the adverb. Latin prefers the adjective, so that we, being happy, may seek. Okay? Happens all the time. So, you know, AP would want to see you translate that precisely. So that we may happily seek Italiam and Latium. Yeah, Italy and Latium. Right, Latium. Seen. It's like saying said see. But if. And I gotta be honest, I shouldn't mock Ilionians. I mean, the guys, I mean, this is tough stuff. But at the same time, I'm seeing one of those silent movies. You ever see silent movie reels from, like, you know, the early days of
only
cinema?
the Hugo.
And, you know, it's always this, you know, like, everyone's always this very herky-jerky movement, you know, and then there's text at the bottom, you know, and it says, "Oh, come back, darling," you know, and stuff like that. That's what I'm seeing. That's exactly what I'm seeing. And he says, "But if absumpta salus,"
health is destroyed.
oh, but if our health and welfare has been destroyed. And now he starts talking to Aeneas, who's not even there. This is what I mean. This is kind of the overdramatic aspect. And ye and you, pater optime tucrorum, but I syncopated it to tucrum. And if you, O greatest father of the Teucrians, if the Pontus habete, yes, if the sea has you, if the Sea of Libya has you, Pontus Libya, if the Sea of Libya has you, and space, the final frontier. No, it's not that kind of space. Space. And hope non restat Iuli.
Does not survive.
There's no longer any hope for Iulus. But freitas secania soltum sedesque paratas, unde huc advecti, regemque petamus aceste. If you're dead, Aeneas, and there's no hope for Iulus, but rather the jump down and grab your verb. Where's your verb in all that? Where's your verb in all that? Petamus, good. But let us at least, right? Let us at least salt him. Let us at least petamus. The Freta Secanii, the Sicilians, basically, Freta really means what? The Straits, S-T-R-I-T, right? The Straits of Sicily, and the Paratas Sedes, the prepared home. We've had this so many times, right? Seats to mean the location or the establishment or something. Let us at least seek the Straits of Sicily and the prepared seats from which we have been advecti huc, from which we have been driven hither, and let us seek regem acestem. Let us seek King Acestum. Like, if we can't get all the way to Italy, and we probably can't, if you're not here with us, oh, pater optime, right? Best father Aeneas. At least let us get to Sicily. Talibus Ilionis. Again, one of these succinct little transitional phrases. Virgil likes this very much. I would say you could expand whatever the line is, 559, maybe something like Talibus verbis Ilionius dixit. With Talibus verbis. Not with these, let's be precise. With what? With such words, Ilionius dixit. Ilionius spoke. Cuncti similore fremebant Dardani. At once, Cuncti Dardanidae. All the Trojans, fremebant ore, shouted out with their Basically with their mouth, but I think the idea is like with a single voice, right? So as long as jabber, 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 all the Trojans are calling out. Then, breviter dido, vultum demissa profatur. Then, now here, he uses an adverb. Breviter is an actual adverb, right? Instead of doing the adjective thing. Then, dido, breviter profatur. She briefly pro fatur. She fatur pro. She dicit pro. She speaks forth, yeah. Yeah, she briefly speaks forth. She, having vultum demissa. Having demissa vultum. Having lowered her eyes. Exactly, lowered her face. And you will notice that there's a note there about that demissa suggesting that that's probably is a Latin attempt at the Greek middle voice. Remember talking about that the other day?
Yeah.
It's not, it would just be ridiculous to think that she has been lowered with respect to her face. That makes no sense. It certainly is not a clear passive, right? It's not like she's standing there immobile and some slaves came along, grabbed her by forehead and chin, and physically lowered her head, okay? Or that she's some animatronic being and somebody's flipping the switch and she's, you know, doing one of these things. No, she lowered her own face, right? She lowered that. And she says to them, Salvete cordametum tucri.
Calm.
Salvete. You got a great derivative from this one. Easy to help you with the definition. What? Solve or dissolve. Yeah, dissolve, dispel, loosen, set free, metum corde.
Your heart.
By the way, set free metum from your corde. Fear from your heart. Tucri. Calls them Trojan, Tucrians, right? Set free the fear from your heart. Secludete curas. Shut out your curas. Your cares. Res dura et regni novetas metalia cogunt moliri. Et late finis custode tueri. She says it is a res dura. It's a harsh situation. And the novetas regni. No, let's get them out. Novetas. And the newness of kingdom. A harsh situation. And the newness of kingdom. Cogunt me moliri talia. Compel me, force me to establish talia. Such things. I know my boys were a little rough with you down at the beach, okay? But listen, this is a tough neighborhood. I'm trying to set up a kingdom in, all right? Plus, I'm new at this, okay? And the kingdom's still new, so you know, ease up off me, all right? It's all gonna be all right. Now, and all that kind of stuff compel me. Late finis custode tueri. Compel me to tueri, to protect my finis, my boundaries. Late, widely, with custode, with the guard. So, you know, I understand you guys' feelings hurt a little bit here, you know, hospitality and all that, but, you know, look at it from my point of view. I got to protect my people too. And it's a harsh situation in the newness of kingdom. Compel me to do these things and to protect my boundaries widely with a guard. She says, quis genus Aenea dum quis Troiae nescat urbem. She says, quis nesciat. Who doesn't know the genus Aeneadum? The race of Aeneas. Come on. Guys, did you see the temple coming in? Yeah, did you see the pictures there? Who doesn't know the Urbem Troiae? The city of Troy. You guys are famous. virtutesque virosque tanti incendia belli. Who doesn't know the virtutes?
Man.
The manliness and the actual viros. The manliness and the men. Or the incendia, the blaze of Tanti Belli, of such a great war. We all have heard the story. You guys are well known. Okay? Okay. Let's press on just a tad bit more. We're not going to quite get where we need to be, but I think we'll be all right. Non obtunsa adio gestamus pectora poini, nectar.